Russell, thanks for coming back into the studio. Navarro, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
So these are really strange times. A lot of people are feeling anxious. What does globalgrind.com bring to the table in terms of providing community?
Well, it's about there's all these people that say they surf the web worldwide, but don't know their way around the world. And so what we do is we filter a lot of what's cool in our community or interesting in our community. And I say our community, I mean this whole urban graduate generation and the young people who come from this hip-hop culture. In other words, there's no way, how do we perceive the natural catastrophes that happen, the Katrinas, the other, there's no real place to find all that information. Who's interested in the rallies that Jay-Z is holding across the country, or if Bow Wow is marching for change, or if Nelly has a voting initiative, or Puffy, or the work that I'm doing? And so no one in national media is so interested in the good that hip-hop does, but we are. No one is interested in our perception of the candidates and the way we view the candidates so much as we are. So we have it's a filter.
Navarro, you're running this enterprise. If you guys are operating at a time when there's a lot of suspicion of any company's ability to make money during the downturn, how are you going to deal with the added suspicion about technology companies and social networking companies? How are you going to survive?
I think there's a couple of ways that we're going to survive. I think one is, this audience has always had value in the marketplace, right? In any industry that you talk about, the urban audience has always shown power and value. But online, there hasn't been a place to show that power and value, and a place where the advertising community can connect directly with that consumer.
But more, it's worse than that, Navarro. I mean, this urban thing. I mean, I'm on the Walmart board, and I sit there and I watch the black agency pitch that there are 11 kinds of black people, and I watch the Latino agency, and I watch the Asian agency. I mean, I sit through these presentations, and the next generation of Latinos are celebrating hip-hop. The next generation of Asian kids. My top designer is Chinese. His girlfriend is the top designer for Kimura, and she's Korean, and they are hip-hop. And there's a point that, and the marketing initiatives around this country leave out this most important brand-building community. This is the community that decides whether it's a Maybach or a Phantom, and the same community that decides whether it's Coke or Pepsi. And they are not, they're patronized. They're chased in a funny way. I mean, they're segregated. And the next America is not so segregated. And that's what Global Grind offers, this new, and especially that they've grown up and still been segregated. Not only are the young people still not recognized for their connectedness, but the 40-year-olds who grew up on hip-hop, they see each other, they're voting for Senator Obama not because of race. And so they have a specific view. Their politics section has the Huffington Post. It has Racialicious, but it also has thenationmagazine.com. It also has, treehugger.com. There's a progressive community that comes out of these poets. And this whole community that we wrap ourselves around is underserved by advertisers, by media experts. They think, they just locked out these people, and these people whose job it is to serve them don't understand them.
So what's the countdown to change?
The countdown for change is that all the initiatives that, say, Jay-Z, like I said, or Puffy's doing what he's doing, or Bow Wow's doing what he's doing, or Rosario Dawson's Latino initiative is what it is, and Hip Hop Summit's doing what it's doing, and Hip Hop Caucus is doing what it's doing, and Rock the Vote is doing what it's a way where you can get a view of all of what they're doing, and it's a way that you can see how we perceive ourselves, and it's about this election. It's about getting young people engaged in the process. And, it's very nonpartisan, much in the same way Fox News is nonpartisan, it's these hip-hop kids and what they want to see happen and how they not only perceive it but work towards it. And it's kind of it's an aggressive move to connect all of these movements to make that difference on November 4th.
What about the November 5th strategy for both of you? And I'll let you go first, Navarro. What I mean by November 5th strategy is you'll have a lot of people who will have been through an experience of a lifetime with this historic race. What do you do with them on November 5th?
I think it continues to give us an opportunity for them to voice their feelings about what's coming forward, right? We all personally hope that November 5th is a season of change with Barack Obama, but at the same time...
You're the CEO. I can say you're the CEO. You don't say that.
I can say that.
If November 5th, John McCain's in office, we'll still want a different relationship with the world. The dialogue rap is good rap, and we still want the Humane Society. I work very hard for the Humane Society to make an endorsement. We'll still want the president to say eat one less hamburger. That's the greatest cause of global warming is animal farming. We'll still want the president to look to lift the poor out of their struggle, and we'll still want the economy to trickle up and not trickle down. We'll still want the change that we're promoting. November 5th, no matter who's the president. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No.
we're nonpartisan. And of course, you can be nonpartisan and still endorse a candidate. So I guess we can endorse a candidate. I'm sorry.
Right. And I think it's all about education. I think whether it's November 5th or any date after,
that's right.
This audience still needs a place to have their voice shown.
Our greatest audience, really, beside for the politics section, which has exploded, is hip hop, and the second greatest is gossip. Right behind politics, which has gotten really hot, the politics section. Look at the politics websites that feed us. The Huffington Post and like I said, Nation and Racialicious is an interesting one that feeds us. And they feed us. Treehuggers.com feeds us. We get all these progressive ideas in our politics section, and those are the ideas that are most featured by the audience. That bubbles up the ideas because we don't create content. We frame it. We have curators as opposed to editors.
How do you keep all of your projects moving forward? Because you have so many, from the Hip Hop Summit Action Network, your for-profit enterprises, all of the different things that you're doing around the election. Let
me start. I'll talk about just the not-for-profit. I have a Tanzania project for Africa coming up, this big event. And there's a model whose job it was to create it and went to Tanzania and started this whole thing. And so she works with our infrastructure at the Rush Community Affairs. And then her name is Heidi Albertson. And then we have Ben Chavis, who runs, along with Alicia Butterfield, the Hip Hop Summit. And they're very good at what they do. And we have Rabbi Snaya, who does the Muslim-Jewish dialogue and all of the ethnic dialogue with me. And he's the chairman of the World Jewish Congress. He's very competent. We have Tangi, who runs the Rush Philanthropic Art Foundation. We underwrite art education, 80 programs. She's talented. The Global Grind has Navarro. Navarro is really great at what he does. It's like I serve, as any chairman does, the initiatives the best I can. And it's the same way the fashion or the Diamond Empowerment Fund has Ellen Hadigan. Last year she raised, with my help, $8 million for that school in Africa. She's doing it, and I'm her servant. So I just work for and try to empower as many talented people as I can and as I have time to support.
All right, final question for you guys. Where will you be on election night?
Well, they want me to be at the bus, which we have. The Hip Hop Summit bus is out with the Hip Hop Caucus in Detroit on that day, and a lot of news media wants us to do that. And then we talked about having a party with Global Grind at the headquarters, in the culmination of this countdown for change. And then BET said I should be the correspondent. I should go over, be there live with the BET network. And there's about 6 more initiatives, and I don't know exactly, but I'll try to find the place where where I'm the best servant, and I'll be there. But definitely, Countdown for Change is in effect. The bus is in Detroit. BET is doing what they're doing. I wish I could serve them all. The idea was to actually list them all so people can get involved. So go to globalgrind.com, whoever it is, and see which one you want to spend your energy on.
We'll put a link there. Well, gentlemen, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.